What a blistering performance this was for Chelsea Football Club. Brilliant stuff from Mauricio Pochettino. All the tactical analysis coming here for you. You don't want to miss anything of everything that Chelsea have done. Brilliant stuff. For the very first time, I'm seeing this for Chelsea Football Club. This thing that's a tactical tweak that Pochettino has failed to do for the very long time. In this game, I've seen it, especially against the low block. He has thrown away all the scare from the defense, added extra bite, and I'll tell you how he used a certain ingredient and the tactical principle behind the brilliant performance. 5 goals to 0. Chelsea going straight to Wembley to face either of Liverpool or Fulham. I'm sure it's going to be Liverpool. But what a game that was. And it is going to be concurrent. Chelsea will have games in the league with Liverpool, and then of course the League Cup final may come after that. But what a game that Chelsea have had. I will talk about everything. My name is Fiifi-Manfred. This is Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. If you've not subscribed to the channel, make sure you pause the video now, go back and subscribe to the channel, and then let me hear from you. Turn on your notifications. This is Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. It's exciting times. It's everything analysis, everything Chelsea, everything the game that Chelsea has played, and you don't want to miss it here on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Do not go away. Again, if you're not subscribed to the channel, pause the video. Like you always know, I'm excited, I'm happy every time to hear from you. Pause the video, let me hear from you. Subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications. My name is Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. But yes, before we even go on, let's do some quick tidbits around all the news that's going on that we'll talk about. We'll do the tactical analysis here of how Chelsea were able to use a simple tactical principle to get in behind the Middlesbrough block and then do the job in there for Chelsea Football Club. Now let's get into it. So I told you 6-0. I told you that Karim Mustafa Benzema, and in a Saudi Pro League, everybody in there feels that all of a sudden Karim Mustafa Benzema may leave the Saudi Pro League. And for the very first time, Chelsea are in the conversations about Karim Mustafa Benzema. They've inquired about him from the Saudi Pro League. And you know, in Saudi Arabia, if you want a top player, you first have to speak to the Saudi consortium first before you go and speak to the club. And his club, Al Ittihad, this time are willing to have discussions. They don't want Karim Mustafa Benzema to go for a simple reason, because he just came. They feel like it's going to be an indictment to the league if Mustafa Benzema, who just joined, leaves, and for the fact that he's Muslim, and on the back of everything that has gone on, if he's going to live in that faction. So they don't want Benzema to leave. They are dragging their feet. They would hope that he doesn't leave. But hey, it looks as if the Prime Mustafa Benzema is going to leave, and Chelsea have inquired about him and everything that's going on there. So Chelsea may be looking at getting Karim Mustafa Benzema in there. So there are a host of stuff as well. Of course, in African Cup of Nations, a lot of issues have gone on. Ghana have been bundled out of the conversation from the game. It was a disastrous game, the disastrous performance from Ghana. If you look at how they played, and I think that in retrospect, it goes beyond just the game that Ghana played yesterday. Ghanaian football is in shambles. But Nigeria have a crunch game against Cameroon in the round of 16. Senegal are perfectly going through Ivory Coast after the debacle, the loss against Equatorial Guinea. At least I see they may go through, and everything that's going on African Cup of Nations. In my opinion, it is the best nation tournament in the world in the last 5 years. It was brilliant stuff from the African Cup of Nations. But hey, let us go straight into the conversation today. What a win that Chelsea have had. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exciting way of play from Chelsea Football Club. We'll get into it. So, of course, in the lead up to this, everybody knows that Chelsea had gone to Riverside and lost by 1-0. In that game, in the space with respect to contest, Chelsea had created some very good chances. Noni Madueke, Cole Palmer had made some very, very good chances, and there was a lot of pressure. But Pochettino says he allowed his players to go away and rest, and then come back to see if they can build together and see how they can go ahead and chase some wins going forward. Now, the players have come back, and it was a big game. If you listen to my pre-match analysis yesterday, the biggest threat of Middlesbrough was the fact that how are Chelsea going to go through the block or even quickly around the block? I mean, it was a big deal. How do you do this? How do you get around the block quickly? How do you go through the block? especially when Chelsea have some discomforts building up in tight spaces in central areas. How are they going to get this done? And it is the fact that Chelsea also consistently prioritized verticality and then quick play from wide areas. It was a big deal for the team. So how were Chelsea going to sort out all of these nitty-gritties about the team? That is a big deal for them. How are they going to get these results? And at the end of the day, when you look at also in the context of the kind of injuries that Chelsea had, I mean, a host of injuries. Nkuku could not return. Chelsea had to call back Cesare Casadei, Andres Santos. They had to call back Diego Moreira, because there are a lot of injuries in the team and they would make do. You understand? There have also been a lot of conversation about the fact that somebody like Armando Broja may leave the club because a lot of clubs are asking for a signature even on loan. And Chelsea says, hey, if we have to sell somebody so that we reinvest the money somewhere, it is something that we would want to do. We would not want to keep the money there and then just let the players be there whilst they are not getting results for them. So all of these things were going on in the lead up to this game. And this is arguably the biggest game of Chelsea. But you listen to Mauricio Pochettino in the pre-match press conference, and one of the things that he said, and I love him for saying that, is the fact that he wanted to see a charged Stamford Bridge atmosphere. He wanted Stamford Bridge faithfuls to be up in their voices, supporting the club, supporting the team, supporting the boys from get-go. Now, I think the biggest surprise is the fact that Malo Gusto had some extra accumulated fatigue in his leg and he had returned from injury. One of the things I like Mauricio Pochettino and his backroom staff for is the fact that they don't rush players from injury into games. They know that it's about the long-term effects that the player can have on the team, not just the short-term. So consistently, they prioritize the long-term. Now, he had Malo Gusto, and he says, no, I'm not going to play Malo Gusto because Malo has had some extra game time in his leg, and we don't want to force him to play. He sits Malo Gusto out, and the biggest question was that Benjamin Chilwell also just came back from an injury. So if you have Benjamin Chilwell coming back from an injury, how are you going to now get him into the team? And then also the fact that Malo Gusto is out of the team. How are you going to marry the two? So at the end of the day, the lineup did come. People were thinking that, okay, then we're going to have 4 defenders, Kohel, Bedlashili, Thiago Silva, and then Axel Disasi. But Pochettino did the exciting thing. At left back, it was actually Ben Chilwell, and the 2 centre backs were Levi Cole and then Thiago Silva. Then, of course, Axel Disasi played at right back. Then, in the middle of the pack, Enzo Fernandez, Moise Caicedo. Right in front of them was Cole Palmer. Then he played Modric, Sterling, and then, of course, Armando Broja. Exciting balance for the team. Now, if you watch the game, build-up for one was very exciting, and these are the principles. First of all, there's the tilt dimension and a change in build-up plan. Chelsea, in times past, will build up in a 3-2, right? And because Levi Cole wasn't a natural fullback, his positioning in build-up was a bit questionable, because at centre-back, he starts on the ball. He plays to break the lines. At fullback, he's supposed to open up to receive the ball. Now, just when Benjamin Chilwell got in, he's such an insane athlete. He's not even up to 50% fit in terms of what he can give the team. But it is a positioning. There are times when he goes wide and high and increases the depth so that Enzo Fernandez will drop onto the left-hand side to receive the ball. There were times when Benjamin Chilwell will come inverted. Then Mihailo Mudryk will keep the width. Then, of course, Enzo Fernandez will push up in a double 10 to form the box midfield with Cole Palmer up top. And it was working from the beginning. And, of course, Chelsea every time tends to overload the wide area. I've told you that one of the reasons why Chelsea were not getting the best out of Mihailo Mudryk was that on the left-hand side, we didn't have a natural fullback that was overloading and keeping the width for even Mihailo Mudryk to cut inside. Well, Marc Cucurella isn't that kind of person. Cucurella is more like a centre-back, but from full-back area. Very good in terms of defensive job, but doesn't really keep the width. You understand? So, regardless of the fact that Middlesbrough came into this game with the advantage and they scored later, it was just about how Chelsea could get themselves into this game. And it was about the comfort. It was about the calmness. How they could stay in the game. How they could break Middlesbrough down. How they could find spaces in between the lines. And I think they got it because, one, Chelsea were winning a numerical superiority in central areas. Apart from the numerical superiority, apart from the central overload that Chelsea themselves had, there was also constant rotations. And the first rotation I saw was from Benjamin Chilwell. He would start from deep and then get in behind. I saw consistent runs in behind. And it looked as if there was a plan from Mauricio Pochettino, Raheem Sterling, and the team to consistently get the wingers in behind or Chilwell in behind. And I think that this was a plan that really worked to perfection because it was able to open up Middlesbrough for large parts of the game, especially for the first goal that came from the right hand side, and then it was an own goal. Then the subsequent goals kept on coming because they found ways to open up Middlesbrough. And the fact that they were able to get the goals in the first few minutes helped. And I think that the whole game was just about 4 or 5 principles. The counter person, the consistent overloading in central areas, Enzo Fernandez and then Benjamin Chilwell's interchangeable positions in there, how dynamic they were on the left-hand side. Of course, the runs in behind I've mentioned, the counter press excellent. All of these things came together to give it an excellent performance for Chelsea Football Club. And they are going into the next round of games, Aston Villa, Liverpool, League Cup, FA Cup and everything, with a lot of confidence, a lot of confidence. And I think that Mauricio Pochettino is getting it right. And you see, when there were times where we spoke about the fact that Conor Gallagher may have to leave the team at some point in time so that we can break down low blocks, this is exactly what we are talking about. This is a team that without Conor Gallagher, they knew that they had to build up better, they had to create more, they had to open up spaces, they had to find holes and then play through central areas, and not to waste too much time on the ball, not to kill the momentum in playing forward. That doesn't mean that Conor is a bad player. He's not a bad player, but sometimes you just want slightly more from your players when it comes to build up and break down low blocks. And that's the point where Chelsea are, and it looks as if they are going to get it. It's excellent stuff, and I think that it helps the team in terms of momentum going forward. I mean, at the end of the day, everybody's excited that the team is playing to this optimal levels. And I think that this is a level where Chelsea will want to just tweak a few things when they're playing against a low block, when they're playing against a team that they need more intensity, more aggression on and off the ball. Then they'll also go and chase stuff like that. And I think that the team will grow. It will grow to becoming a model team, and they'll get to results. So, guys, this was just brilliant stuff. Chelsea into the final of the Carabao Cup. First season, first cup, Mauricio Pochettino, exciting stuff. This is Fiifi-Manfred. If you're able to watch this far, then you should subscribe and turn on notification. My name is Fiifi-Manfred. I'll see you soon. Bye.